How are you?
Good, good. Oh my
That's
God. You know,
boom. It's been
oh my
it's been a
God.
while. It's
I
been a while.
know, I
I
know.
miss our long talks about nothing and everything and everything. So thank you for doing this. I've wanted to do this for quite a while, but just got
Yeah.
really busy. And so what's new? What seems to be happening?
Um, what oh my gosh, like wow, just like in the moment, it's like
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Wow, because if since I talked to you, last, it
A
seemed
couple of
like
months, right? A couple of months.
I mean it in some way seems like forever and also
That's
like
right. Yeah, yeah.
yesterday. But there was a thought
Yeah,
definitely that something is still unraveling. Maybe it
yeah,
is the energetic kind of sense of reality, or
yeah.
the like wow, this is so tricky to put it in words. But see if I can. Okay, so there was still kind of the experience whatever it is left, or the belief in, I
Like a
don't know,
purging.
purging, or
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
way on unraveling or something like that, so there was that kind of sense. And then also at the same time there was a thought that is like, wow, life is really getting like better.
Yeah.
The whole point is like so that you live your, I don't know, like authentic life. And it's like, wow, like who wants to talk
Yeah.
about emptiness? It's like, wow, I don't know, there was definitely some that kind of sense.
Yeah.
It's just that everything disappears. Some kind of vague sense of life that is getting better or
Yeah.
free. I don't know, or like, or the even the emergence of authentic character. I don't know, all this like something. It's not that of course, it's not that anything arrives
Yeah.
anywhere of like
Yeah.
the end of, I don't know, purging or something,
Yeah.
because it's just all that story evaporates.
Yeah. That's
And then it is like, wait a minute. And then it's just there's no like a point where it's like, oh, something stops happening. I mean, there is no, you know like, it's just notice that, oh, it's not
everything
happening.
just goes poof.
Oh,
Everything just goes poof. And even the idea of the purging just goes poof.
oh, oh,
And it's just
oh.
uh,
So, oh,
yeah, go ahead.
oh. So that's when I was what I was thinking, because when there was still the sense of like purging or melting, or there was still kind of when some emotions or something, I don't know, like arose. It was like that story of trauma, right? It kind of like, oh, because this is, because when I was young, and because that sense of density contains time,
Yeah.
because that sense of density equals time. And then within that sense of like something real, and
Yeah.
then there's this telescoping whole experience of the memory, or some kind of memory being real. So that
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
stories of like trauma healing, right? But what
Yeah.
was seen is that that's all part of the knowing,
It
because somehow,
is.
yeah. So it's like that actually, that whole, healing of that, I don't know, all this core wound or core story or something. It is all part of this
It's
density of
also
knowing.
what is.
Oh,
That's also
totally.
what is, right?
Oh, totally.
It's not
So
about bypassing or thinking that you're thoughts dropped or something that, oh, you know, it's just what is, it's just a thought, but the density feels absolutely real. You know what I'm saying?
Um,
It yeah, go
yeah.
ahead, sorry.
And then that density is that kind of that it, when that density arises, there's like all like poof, the sense of
Yes.
time, the
Yeah.
past and the future, and then something, you know, has gotten better or something is like, oh, this is me and everything. They are like one single package.
Yeah. It reminds me of our one of our first conversation. We did a one-on-one a long time ago. It's over a year ago now, right? And then
Yeah,
you messaged me back and you said, Emerson, there are no fucking memories. Remember that?
yeah,
You, it
yeah.
in bold letters, you know, it's like in capital letters because it's almost like everything that seems to appear, you know, is empty and also full at the same time. But what sometimes is missed is that we the characters seem to bypass the fullness and just goes on empty in the beginning. I don't know if you noticed that, right? You were like, I remember that, you know, it was just a lot of emptiness, and now there's fullness, right? And it's simultaneous now. So it can
Totally.
come as dense. See that I'm saying? It can come as triggered. It can
Yeah.
appear as whatever. And it's just
Mhm.
the fullness of this so-called life appearing. And
Totally.
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, it felt definitely like that in the with the collapse. Boom, it was like
Yeah.
phew, stunning emptiness, and then
Yeah.
there was seemed like in the story, kind of there's emptiness and then ordinary life, like I
Yeah.
don't know, some you
When it
know.
kind of like almost settles in, right? You know, ordinary life and emptiness, then life becomes full,
Yeah,
and empty
and empty,
simultaneously.
totally
Yeah,
empty, and also even the story of trigger or the self or the seeking, everything absolutely no difference because it's
yeah,
exactly wow. But that's what is so
yeah.
so stunning.
It is. And what I like about you know when talking to you is that the authenticity that comes out of you, that you're not boxed in into any kind of
Oh
idea. Because
yeah,
sometimes it gets easily boxed in. And I remember talking to you maybe I don't know a long time ago,
yeah,
and then and I think that you're like I can't really remember what was said, but it was almost like it's not an idea, it's not a concept, it's something that is beyond you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, because I think this one is kind of like sensitive because even in the beginning there is so much kind excitement to talk about this, but immediately when something I feel like something comes out, and
yeah.
then there's a sense, wait a minute, but this is what I heard, you know, I don't know, whatever, whether it's a radical non-duality, whatever it is, it's like just in the body somehow there is a sense of like I think that was kind of
And
is
that's
such
also it. And that's
that's
also it. That's
that's
also it, right?
that's
It it doesn't have to be what your version of perfection is.
yeah,
Whatever arises is perfect as it is. So even the idea of like, oh, I didn't say something right or whatever, that's also what it is.
yeah,
And it can never be misplaced because it is whatever it is that appears, right? So everything is seemingly in sync, but there's no one in sync to it anymore. There's no two. So it's yeah, it's just really fascinating, and I love talking about this because it's just an unraveling of this authenticity of the character.
mm, mm,
It's just been great, and I've seen your journey too, you know what I'm saying, in talking about this with your channel, Grace
mm.
Non-duality. And so tell me what happened with that. You have a video out, a new video out, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
recently, you know, as you we've talked before,
yeah,
it's like, you know, there was that excitement and making videos, and then it's at one point because the whole sense of audience or sense of I don't know anything to say because there's nothing to say, no one to say to. It's just like,
yeah.
you know, and then I had some conversations with friends, and it's just like I don't know, like there was also a phase I was like totally moving away from, there's no moving away, but you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
The
Yeah.
ordinary life was like, what? Because there was a total disappearance of, I don't know, like any of this, talking of this. So
Yeah.
it's just like, and then there was just like, I didn't want to, it's like, okay, that I guess kind of my life is going, oh, that's it, or something like that. And
I,
then
oh, go ahead.
out of nowhere, it's like, again, that is like that kind of like, oh my gosh, this is like a beautiful, beautiful poetry. So like sometimes, it just comes and you just want to say something.
Yeah, it's just art, right? Because you can't really express what it is. So the expression of what what you say is just art. And because it cannot really be pinpointed as it is, right? So, and it's a lot of people have messaged me of how they love the way that you communicate.
Oh,
Of
really?
how, yeah, yeah, it's funny. I don't know why people message me this kind of things, say, but I'm like that. Message her. Um, I'm sure you get a lot of
Oh,
that too.
yes.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Oh,
Because
really?
yeah, yeah.
I
And
also get a lot of messages for when there's some other speakers or teachers that they don't resonate with. It's funny
yeah,
because maybe because I was a host before, and that's probably
yeah,
why
yeah.
they they talk to me about these things. But yeah, it's just a pure enjoyment of it because there's really no point in talking about it.
No point. And then
Yeah.
also, I cannot, there's no control.
Yeah.
It's like there's a thought, it's like, oh, this sometimes it's like wanting to capture some feeling to kind of like express it, but it doesn't lead up to making a video or right.
Yeah.
So it just goes and then to totally forgetting that there is even, you know,
Yeah.
videos
That's
for you.
right. So deleting videos is it, putting videos is it, everything is it. So it
Totally.
doesn't really matter, right? And it's just it is what it is, whatever it is. And it's quite fascinating, the passion that comes out. I don't know if when you talk, I don't know, you feel it, that there's just this passion coming out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden there's a video online. You're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's cool and everything. But yeah, it's just this, it's almost like this autonomous happening. Um, and it's beautiful. And also the autonomous happening of posting it or not posting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because no control.
Yeah.
Absolutely no.
And you've had conversations with Eri. I'm going to have a conversation with Eri later on too. So it's kind of, I said
Oh,
I've been wanting to book a day, so that I just talk to, because it's just been nuts lately, here.
yeah.
But it's been good. It's been really, really good. And I've wanted to do this for a long time. And it's just, it's so good to see where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Because I usually, this is not an easy, and there's no journey, of course, but what seems to arise sometimes is it's unpredictable, right? Sometimes it's just this open wideness of everything. And sometimes it's just um getting triggered about something.
Mm,
And
yeah.
but it doesn't last long, right? It just happens and then
Yeah.
poof,
Yeah.
happens and then poof.
Yeah.
It's I think I told you about this. I haven't gotten mad or angry for a long, long time. So when I got angry finally, and I was like, yes, yes. I guess I guess the character is just naturally at ease. You know what I'm saying? They're just
Oh,
when
yeah.
I was seeking, I was angry a lot because the seeking energy was so. Tell me about that seeking energy that you had before. Did you have any suffering or something like that?
Oh my gosh.
I
Emerson.
know.
I mean, I don't know how, like, obviously, there's like maybe there are people who come upon this, without suffering, but I,
I've encountered a couple of people
yeah,
that didn't
yeah,
have any suffering. Yeah, it can appear as anything, right? So it doesn't have to have a precursor. But I know
totally.
your story, but I just wanted you to share it. You know what I'm saying? I already know the story. But yeah, if you can share it, for people that are listening.
Oh my gosh. Again, to talk about the Grace's life or the past, it's almost like because it's the whole, I don't know, 40
It's
something years becomes one like thing. So there, sometimes of course it was horrible. I mean, it was just the weight of being a person. And then that, oh, that, um, wow, how do you even that just like everything being so real, in that sense of realness, it was like, it's just, I just unbearable. Just, and then
Yeah.
of course there were all these stories about, because my childhood or trauma, or I'm so
Yeah.
sensitive. I mean, oh, you name it. It's like, I
Yeah.
just like, what am I,
Check,
like, what is
check,
my life?
check.
Where is it going? Like, I mean, what am I supposed to do? What is my purpose? What is the meaning? All that. It is like, and then also just, yeah, not knowing, and
Yeah.
somehow that intense, just that the total impulse that I
And
should
the need
know,
to know.
the need to know,
The
I
need to
should
know.
know,
Yeah.
I need to know, I need to be somebody. How can, in the world of somebody's, how can I be nobody? And any somebody that you kind of try to
I know what you mean.
decide,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there is this like, I mean, sometimes it can kind of act a little bit, or it's not. I mean, in general, I think you can say, you know, in general, like, I'm pretty competent, like, I don't know, but wow, the inside is like that it is like, I just cannot hold up this
Yeah.
this show, because I'm just so fucking tired.
Yeah.
Exhaustion, it's like,
The troubles I've seen, you know what I'm saying? Like all that kind of, and just that, and it was really unbearable, right? It was
yeah,
so, it was almost like a neurotic longing for something that you don't know what it is.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
And the constant following of others, the teachers, saying, I don't know how many teachers or
I do think,
speakers you've gone through, but the constant, or the comparing that someone's got it better than me.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally, totally, that sense of separation. I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't really big on like following, I don't know, like the guru or putting somebody up somehow, that, because I started with like more Zen meditation or
Yeah.
vipassana. So it's like all just kind of
Yeah.
everything is, already just within your own experience. So there wasn't much of like putting others on, but I guess as long as that sense of separation is there, even though it didn't appear, probably unconsciously, it is like, oh, just like that unworthiness or not good enough, and somehow it's like this life, it's just absolutely impossible, not, and then that paradigm seemed to be comforting for a while. It's like, okay, Grace, it's okay, you work as much as you can this life, and then it just kind of, many lifetimes, and then someday you will kind of, okay, that kind of seemed to resonate for a time, right? Because that not hoping, because I didn't want to, that hoping and feeling like that, being compared or comparing, that's so painful, right? It is like, so somehow I think all kind of stories arise to at least make sense of, to comfort and to try to
Yeah.
accept, or trying to
Yeah.
kind of, it's so beautiful, right? It's like,
Looking back, right? It's although it's irrelevant, you know what I'm saying? it there's almost no regret for it, because it's like it
oh,
was just it's also what is, like
oh,
even at that point, in the story anyway, that was also what is, right? That that
oh,
that lying in bed, and and not being able to get up, and just so tired and frustrated and sick of and tired of looking, and not wanting to wake up, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to go to sleep and go sleep again, sleep again. Just the depression of it all was
that's
also it. And it's the deliciousness of this separation, this unicity that appears as separation, because without that lying in bed, there is no walking in bliss in the forest. You know what I'm saying? I remember that you used to send me these texts of how just it was beautiful. Like you write really beautifully, Grace, and then you would be writing about just I don't know, just walking around or something. I don't know if you remember that. You remember that? Like it was just
Maybe,
almost.
yeah.
I love that. That I love that we have this friendship that we have kept kept in touch all throughout. You know what I'm saying? From running around in Toronto like little high school kids looking for cigarette. although we don't smoke cigarettes.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun.
That was so funny.
Like so excited.
Yeah. Like, do you want to have a cigarette? Yes, let's have a cigarette, um, and it's just that's what is too. Right.
Oh,
And but there's no more addictions to that, right? So there's no more smoking cigarettes. But that was fun. That was
oh,
just
that
like
was
being a
so
little high
fun.
school kid, and the little stories that you shared along the way, like you've traveled a little bit too, right? You went to Norway, and tell
Yeah,
me about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Oh, that was so fun. Like, I hung out with Krista and Marcus,
Oh,
and
cool.
there's sister, and oh, it was so wow. Because now, because there is no need to like go anywhere, or of course, everywhere you go is always, you know, always this. Yet when it happens, there is such appreciation. It's so like, I mean, it's so even wild to talk about this, because it's like that the absolute absence of need for
Yeah.
anything, even
Yeah.
to survive, you to, and yet it is that things continue to happen. And then like last
Yeah.
night with my friend, we went to see a live show, and it was
Also,
like, I was dancing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I love this band. It's like the moment they played, it's like was the shot of this happiness, joy, and then the
oh
bandmates
yeah.
were like so the chemistry, and there was so this like joy, and it was like anyway. So and then it is like, of course, it's not as it comes out, nothing happened. It's that whole, oh wow, because nothing is happening. Of course, there can be no need. Yet the ordinary human life, Grace has his, you know what I mean? His
Yeah, yeah.
preferences and all these like moods and I don't know everything. Um. Anyway.
That's beautiful though, right? It's I've had, an experience where I was on stage. I'm not gonna say more, and there was like 30,000 people screaming at in a concert, right? I was like in a backstage situation, and I was like, wow. Um, and the singer asked me how was that. I'm like, well, it's the same as walking down, when you see kind of like a grass that's frosted. It's just it
It's
everything, even the small things, I'm saying. That's wow, but this is wow as well. There's no more benchmarks, you know what I'm saying, I'm talking about, right?
right, right, yeah,
There's no
yeah,
more ultimate. Everything is just this flow and everything. No, there's no one holding on to that experience and everything. Because,
yeah,
like for example, I was just walking down and I was looking at the grass crystallizing, because it's getting cold probably over there too, in New York, right? It's crystallizing the grass. I'm like, oh, this is like a universe here, looking at the grass. And it's just the wow. Or the mundane things, like talking to your best friend, and your best friend laughing at what you post on Instagram. You're like, what do you mean? It's what is.
oh
And being to laugh about that now. When I was in spirituality, when someone made a comment, or my friends, I'm like, you don't understand. It's okay. There was this seriousness, right? But now there's just this bursts of laughter about anything, because it's just so
about
simple.
about
It's
anything, and it's so surprising also what is funny and what is what somehow totally moves you, because there is no, I have no idea, it just immediately happens, like you see something and then it's like wow, this emotion, and then tears, and then it's like,
yeah.
but there's no I am surprised sometimes as it happens. It's like, oh, just whole energy, just like,
Yeah.
wild, and then tears
And you know what's not often talked about, and it's the absence of suffering, that psychological suffering.
yeah,
There's just this openness in living,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
ordinary things, the naturalness of things. There's no more drama seeker, right? Because when and this is funny, right? This is a story, but usually seekers are big drama queens, right? And they're and and that was my drug, was suffering, right? How can I suffer more?
Because like without that, all stories disappear.
That's
No, there's
right.
no story carrier, the carrier of the story, and
Yeah.
oh, the storytelling can happen, but it has absolutely no weight, no meaning, no purpose. And for
No.
the visual, that's so I don't know, it has to live on
Yeah.
the meaning of things, which is the drama, and then the time, right, the past and the future, because I exist and I am,
The I am, the I always, right? Whatever follows after the I is just this narrative, this story that maintains the I. And there's nothing wrong with the I, you know what I'm saying? But it's
nothing
the
wrong.
yeah,
Yeah, nothing wrong with the I, but somehow that weight, I don't know, that kind of
yeah,
density, you know what I mean, which that's that kind of goals. And then so
yeah.
I can say I have no problem, like I want this, I like this, I that, the ordinary
That's what
life,
it is. There's no more identification with
or the
whatever.
weight of
Yeah.
identification, the weight of the
Because
identification
it
of
can be sad. Sad happens. You know what I'm saying? It's like
oh
I don't really follow the war, what's happening. But someone sent me this video of this kid that was shocked, and
yeah,
tears just bursted out. I was like so sad. But there's no more even or trying to fix it or whatever, because that's what is.
totally,
Sadness. Yeah. I don't know which side it is. You know what I'm saying? There's no more sides. But sadness happens, and it's full on. Full
on.
on.
It's like the when the body doesn't know that it doesn't exist. I mean, I don't know, it's like when okay, the body doesn't know it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
body doesn't know that
Yeah.
it is happening to that person or
Yeah.
here or there, because there's no, I was thinking there's some kind of mirror neuron, I don't know. So it's like I saw something in the marathon, and then after the end of the race, and the family from Africa, they were all like hugging and
Yeah.
crying. My body just like, wow, I was right. I was the mother. The body has no idea that it is not the mother. It doesn't make sense because so I think that's what
Oh
I
shoot.
don't
Just a second,
know.
Grace. My
Oh
my
yeah.
my battery is running. Just a second, okay?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hold on for a second. Sorry about this. Um oh no. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, that worked. Okay. Sorry. It's because I have this camera that's AI, right? So I need another port and everything. Isn't that funny? That camera earlier? I'll show it later. But sorry, go ahead. What you were saying again? I lost
Yeah. Um. Oh, the body doesn't know that it doesn't exist.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So and then so again, this is just a story
Yeah.
because there's no filter, and but also I have no, there's no knowing what situation or the person that it is like this energy is going to totally
Yeah.
become that. And then there is like I don't watch the news, or like I don't know, the like horror stories or horror movies or something that is
Yeah.
sad or tragic. Somehow it just doesn't, because I probably biologically the body already doesn't want to feel, probably to,
Yeah.
the body doesn't want to feel. It's just, even though there's no, it's just very
It's
instinctual.
It's autonomous. It's automatically happening. It's kind of funny, right? We have this whole internal organ system that is so complex that it cannot be replicated yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No one can replicate that yet. And yet we believe that we are choosing. The heartbeat beats, the lungs breathe, the eyes blink, 10,000 times without us knowing it. And then the kidneys and all of this stuff that seems to appear, the blood, the immune system, all of this really miraculous things that seems to appear, right? Or how the skin absorbs, or it's just wow. It's just so fascinating. And then we're caught up about our choices. There's this miraculous happening, autonomous, that a body that's not knowing, but it's just automatically happening. And yet we think that that we are, we should be shameful that we drink coffee.
Yeah.
or
yeah, I mean, about choices, because I think I was like thinking about, I don't know, people asking like, oh, free choice or something, and something about it is so funny. I don't know. Like sometimes when I think about certain things, it's like so funny, because like in one level you can say, yeah, because everything is like the whole biology, right? It's just all automatically happening. It's one level.
Yeah.
And also in absolute sense, it's total emptiness. It's not even happening.
It's automatically happening, but the idea that we're choosing it simultaneously, and then on top of that, it's not even occurring.
And there's no substance. There's no reality. It's reality. There's no substance in reality. It's just like all the brain. It's like this empty fractal, just kind of like ceaselessly this magic show that's just and then for like imagination to say, it's like arguing about free choice, no choice. I mean, it's like,
who cares?
oh my gosh. And as if, because I guess that question, all questions come from, right, that sense of density, because it feels like something is real. It feels like something substance or exists. Only exists, or something is real and something is alive. It is my life that I must like maintain, whereas of course I think the hardest part of talking of this or this communication is that sense of that density is already emptiness. The emptiness is already appearing as a sense of density. But how
I think a couple of weeks ago, someone was asking me about questions. I'm like, well, questions are also it. There's the answers.
And it's teaching and helping and guiding, unraveling, supporting. All equally choiceless, equally beautiful, or painful, or whatever. Exactly.
And that's what seems to have unraveled, right? Is that meaning, although there is, intrinsically there's already no one, but in the story, you know what I'm saying? In the story, there's still, characters that are seemingly suffering about this construct that there is something that to find or something to attain, or there's a next and everything. So this character has been, it's been a beautiful unraveling of like meeting where characters at, and seemingly in the one-on-ones, it's popping now, right? It's almost like every one-on-one, it's like, I'm like, okay, it's almost like something fell out. Something fell out, meaning that because it's seeing the character, whoever it's being talked to, where they're at in the story. Because you know what, the character can get really, really frustrated with it's just really nothing happening and all that, and it becomes dogmatic for them now, right? So it's such a beautiful thing, right? Although there is no one to help, helping happens.
Oh, totally. Well, because
it's beautiful.
Nobody escapes the dream of separation, right? Nobody is world, like if yeah, I said nothing exists, but this is not. Nobody can know. Nobody can know. And then there's
No one
grace.
knows,
Because in the dream of supper, the dream continues. This automatic, automatic. This is like, and then within that, I was thinking, when I was a seeker in the story, Grace of Seeker, and then you hear it's like, oh, when I first heard that you don't exist, it was like, somehow, even though I cannot understand, there's a resonance, my name being called, there is that kind of magnetic pull, right?
Yeah.
And I've been going to Eris
Oh, yeah.
So it's like I've been really enjoying it. It just happens, even though there's a thought. It's like, what? Like, I mean, it's like why is that happening? But it happens, and I'm always happy to, I don't know,
Oh,
once
beautiful.
And of course this beautiful person, right, is saying it's like so frustrated and it's so not fair, and then it's like when anything is spoken with authenticity or sincerity, is obviously so emptiness speaking, right? It's emptiness speaking. I'm so frustrated, I'm so angry, or like, I don't know, it's like not fair that it is some people that there's a liberal and I'm not there, but it is like, wow, you're hearing and your spine is tingling, and it's like, this is emptiness speaking.
This is emptiness already. I know what you mean, because there's no separation really, right? And especially when someone gets passionate about whatever they're talking, and that's always been there, with this character. Anyways, when I meet someone in one-on-one, I don't see a me, I don't see a seeker. I see what is. So there's no barrier, you know what I'm saying? And what is can pretend to be not what is, but it's still what is. It doesn't matter. It's like a kid hiding behind a clear plastic, transparent clear plastic. I see you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even if they're seemingly hiding or completely convinced that there's something to find. And that's what's beautiful about it, right? I'm planning to do Fridays, structure it a little bit more. And maybe we should do one, with you and Ere and everybody. There is a love for doing this. I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, right? So it's like, oh wow.
So I was saying, I think I was just kind of getting sidetracked, but it's almost like the seeker is speaking, or the so-called seeker is speaking, like, oh, I'm so frustrated, or it is like there is like
that's emptiness speaking,
or something, emptiness speaking, and it is like just the way that Grace as a seeker was pulled to, like, it felt like love or my name being called. Now that kind of feels like my name being called or my name being remembered, isn't it? It's kind of like I don't know, there's so much love. It's like wow, right? It's like probably that's why speaking happens, because when
it's in the story, the story can be completely compassionate as well, right? It's compassion for the apparent seeker, because you've been there to suffering, and although there is no one there, the alleviation of pain and suffering, you know what I'm saying? I see it, like when I do one-on-ones, like when someone calls me up and they're like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm okay. Or that, or when somebody tells me that, you know what, I didn't tell you this, Emerson, but I don't know where my addiction went and everything. And these are just stories as well, you know what I'm saying? Addiction happens or not, you know what I'm saying? It's just what is. It's not a better, it's not a worse, it's just what is.
Because the human body, I think that kind of, I think help supporting or being there for somebody who is suffering, let's say in the story, somehow it also feels good to the body. Like, I mean, because when the heart is open, because it's like the body is designed, it seems like it is designed to kind of like help each other, support. It's something, it's like it's a natural, it feels like a natural biology to an extent.
You know what's been also happening over the past, well, this, no one realized this, but this openness has been opening more and more and more and more. It's so wild, right? It's
It's like
wild.
continuous. So there's no more like a sense of a process or something is, I don't know, that kind of the
There should
story.
be nothing, and that's it. There's no more barrier, right? It's like if somebody
Exactly.
wants to meditate in front of me, I'm okay now with it. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing
Oh,
wrong with it. I
oh,
used to be allergic to a lot of things.
oh,
I
yeah,
still get
yeah. All
I still
that.
get allergic to some stuff, but you know what? It's all right because there's openness here. It's
Totally.
so beautiful, right? Because
Totally.
there's no more rigidity. There's no more authority, and that's what's
Totally.
beautiful.
And that kind of evaporation also, um that judgment of position, any position, it all wears
Any position,
all wears
yeah.
out, and then it's
Even
just
no position is a
whatever.
position. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Especially any
yeah.
tension, anything that wants to, it's just all kind of evaporates, and
It's so beautiful. And you know
everything.
what? Because everything is allowed, this can go the opposite. I don't know if you've seen it. Some people become some speakers or teachers, all of a sudden they get caught up in their belief system now. And that's
Yeah,
also what is.
that's also what is.
Yeah.
I totally, I I mean, I understand, because it's like it went through. Even here, Grace also went through. Even after collapse, there was kind of like, wait,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
and this is not radical, and this is like,
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
to
yeah.
this is not talking to that kind of. It just everything goes.
And I'm glad we talked constantly about it during that time. Remember? Because
Oh, that's right. That's another idea.
yeah, yeah, remember that? Because it was almost like I'm like, same here, right? There's no more radical, there's no more whatever. It's just what is. It's just this. And even
Yeah.
not this is this. So there's no more putting down people that
No.
seems to not get this, right? Because it's just it's all this. It's all right. And
It
it's
seems like, I mean, again, this is a theory, and this is also part of what is, so there's no judgment on that either.
yeah.
It seems like it is like kind of the remaining density. I don't know. It's just, even though
Yeah.
there's no progress in the story, in the
No.
character, it's like a constant kind of evaporation, constant
Yeah.
evaporation to emptiness. But it
Yeah.
is like, which is already empty, and then
Yeah.
also constant unraveling or constant opening of the heart, constant kind of like I don't know, just this, you know,
It
just
is.
no
It
end.
is.
There's no end. There's no arrival. It is constantly
It's
changing,
not it's
happening,
not a
unfolding.
destination. It's not a destination at all. And you
No.
know what's it's funny, right? Characters just seem to want to seemingly hold on to a position because it's a wild free fall, and it
Yeah.
should not even be called anything. It can't even be called non-duality because it's just another concept. And
No.
and if there is openness, then it's a wild embrace to whatever it is, right? It's a wild embrace because it's easy to get stuck in the dream again. And you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah, probably maybe the maybe some conditioned pattern of like grasping the position, but
yeah,
oftentimes the tricky part is when that happens, you don't even know that it's happening until it falls apart.
yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly.
And then once
and
that
there's
fell away,
and there's no one better or worse, and that's the thing,
no,
right?
no,
It's just whatever it is.
because
It's
once that falls away, and you're like, wow, that was a position. And then seeing like other people who are holding on some position, because it's like it's totally understandable, totally kind of, and then there's nothing to say. It's
and
natural, not be
that's
any other way.
innocence as well. Yeah,
Totally not be any other way. It's just all choice. There's no
yeah,
choice. There's no choice to.
yeah.
That's what.
It took me a while to speak, right? Because there was clarity here, and every time that, but I didn't know where to put the clarity because you can't put clarity anywhere. And so the clarity. So I was just hosting a whole bunch of different people, and then words are all conceptual. Everything that you will say is going to be conceptual, and and any position is a concept, and it's beautiful now. You know what I'm saying? There's always been this clarity that cannot be said in words, but when the words started to come out, I love that they kept on changing and they kept on, one day it's emptiness, and I'm like, it's not even that. And then one day it's blankness, and I'm like, not even that. And then one day this, not even this, because he can't be captured in words. And it's just this free flow, this infinite flow of what cannot be grasped. And it's beautiful. Yeah.
I think I remember, because I think we were talking about it and I was really happy to, I don't know, I felt a lot of joy and appreciation for you really just kind of naturally just embracing that whole, not being, being limited to speaking certain way.
Yeah.
And I think like, definitely, I mean, like,
because I have not changed any message. There's still clarity there, and it doesn't matter any words. And for some odd reason, because it's more relatable now, people that actually do the one-on-one seem to end their seeking. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not limited anymore. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, that's really, I think that's the.
And I have to think you've always been a great friend. You've always been encouraging, because it's so beautiful to just to get a friend saying that, oh, I love what you're saying now, Emerson. It's
Totally.
Thank you.
No, of course, because this freedom, it cannot be boxed into radical non-duality. It's like, what does it even mean? Because it's just life, like just that boundlessness, and then of course, depending as the character is freed from any belief systems or ideas, or it's just like just arising in immediacy to who you talk to, what in the context, because in some way it's everything, because there's no somebody
boundaries, there's boundless, right?
This one is like depending on who I'm talking to, is completely
totally. It's meeting where the character is at, right? And it's just, and what happened in the past, I think I told you about this, that someone shared my video to people that have never heard of non-duality. So I have a different group of people that I meet, that a bigger number of people that I meet, and although what's being said is still the same, there's almost a hand holding, so to speak, right? So it's beautiful. It's meeting them where they're at, and it's like a wider audience, but not really. It's still minuscule, but
So this is my, I mean, again, this is an empty theory, but what felt like here was when there was still kind of that energetic, like a belief in I don't know, something separation,
in nothing.
Something. It felt like it's like if I'm talking to somebody, or if somebody's, because it felt like this one was like tuning into their heaviness or their suffering, and then it felt like because of course that was whatever was here, and then that it like there was a sense that it is not for me. Does it make sense? Because it's like, wait a minute, it feels like work. Why is nothing? Why shouldn't feel like work? And then I understand, because it's a little kind of, I don't know, staying with a radical message. You are totally just like not, do you know what I mean? Not just like, not kind of.
There's still a lot of love and respect for radical message, but it's but it can also be a seeming limitation for characters. You know what I'm saying?
I think
it can become dogmatic. It become a belief system, and
I think it depends on the character, because it's like it's because it's choicelessly happening, and somehow some speakers feel so authentic and like free through and through, and then sometimes I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I think depending on like character, when because I mean I love people, you know, and there's absolutely no kind of need to impose. I
But
wish.
there's no more boxes. That's what I'm saying. And then that's what was happening with Grace. Grace was unboxing.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
That should be the title. Unboxing Grace. Yes.
And then it is like forever unboxing.
It's
That's
the
forever
infinite unboxing. Yeah.
infinite unboxing.
Infinite unboxing. That's what it is.
and
you know what's so beautiful about this unboxing and this radical, I call it radical openness. And it's because if there's simply no one, then there should be an authenticity that's full on.
Yeah.
The character is full on because there's no one to choose to be this or that. So it's just whatever the character is, it's just the fullness of that character. The authenticity of that character is the boom now, right? It's the wow. It's like, and that's what I've been seeing, the character of Grace just unboxing, infinitely unboxing, and it's beautiful, right? And
it does feel like that because I think there was a time in the beginning there was that like maybe the remaining the idea of how it should be. I was like some and then it felt like I don't like what I'm saying, you know, or like
well, if you really look at it, what we talk about can't really be put in a story, but we still have to go in the context of story.
Yeah.
Even though story is a story.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
There's no way out of it, right?
Oh, no,
there's no way out. You can't say that there's awake and then there's dreaming, because that's duality, right?
Yeah.
There's just awakeness or dreaminess or whatever, you know. Say there's just a singularity, a unicity, and it's that simple. And to try to capture that into words and concepts, you can't. It's impossible. So it's always just this beautiful infinite unboxing, unraveling.
You cannot escape storytelling. You cannot escape story of kindness.
No. The moment that the mouth opens, a story comes out already.
Yeah.
Even saying that there's no one here, that's a story.
Of course. That's dreaming. You know, that's again, as long as any sound has a meaning, it's dreaming. You cannot, whether it's emptiness or absolute, it's all dreaming as long as it that it has a meaning, you know. So cannot
totally. I still can't find Emerson, you know what I'm saying? But that's also what is. It's still the same. There's also no sense of me here, but that's just another story.
Totally.
That's just another story. Yeah.
Like for me, I don't, because it just totally loses the relevance of like me.
It does. Me or no me.
Like,
I don't really talk about the me. People have to request in my meetings for me to talk about the me, because I don't see the relevance. If there's really no me, why talk about it over and over and over again?
Well, I guess it's like for the sake of storytelling, of course, sometimes you have to say something like a self or
there's also innocence in talking about it, because there's already no, whatever, right? Whatever. So so it's funny. Like I'm like, oh, you know what? There's this sense of openness that is always been there. It's always been there, right? And I did talk to a whole bunch of. Someone invited me to talk, and it's Josh, from the Angelo side and everything, and it was a beautiful conversation. He's my friend, and I'm like, there should be no barriers to this, and it's just so wow. There might be some stuff that we don't agree with the character, but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Like, and I was talking to Atlas, and it was just the goofiest conversation ever, because there's no one here that takes itself really seriously anymore. And the first person that I thought of was like, I have to talk to Grace, because this is what Grace and I have been talking about in the past. Remember? We've been talking about this for a long, maybe 6 months ago. Yeah.
And you know what? It just is so obvious, because my friend John, my best friend John.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to non-duality, but energetically absolute resonance, and I don't feel anything like I don't know, there's absolutely no difference in her experience. I don't feel, you know what I mean? It's absolute resonance. So it's like, and then also she has different beliefs, and sometimes we meet and then we talk at the same time, and then we just laugh because it's just so obvious that actually it doesn't matter what you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
The love. I mean, or like, I don't know, the heart, or what is it? Energetic openness, or it's like a love is like you know, that heartedness.
You know what's left for me right now is it's just love now. It's just it's love that I can't imagine. There's just so much love. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much love. And
you know, because I think recently I was like, wow, this is like because also as all the knowing kind of evaporates, you know, sometimes I don't know, I was like in bed for like few days, but I just wasn't sure if I'm sick, if I'm depressed, if I am like if there's some problem, if I'm dying. It's just like, I'm just so not sure, but there's such contentness. You know, there's such contentness.
That's what it is.
Floating, and then it is like, am I sick or am I? It feels like there's a crushing headache, but I'm just so not sure. And then also it is like, wow, this is like being in love. And then I remember long time ago, you mentioned this is like in loveness, right? In loveness, and then I was like, wow, like it totally resonates. And in loveness.
In loveness, and that's what it is, right? And the way that I talk about this has not really changed, but there's just more in loveness. It's just gone deeper.
Deeper. Like that. It seems like deeper, as all the, I don't know, whatever is emptying out, unraveling, whatever is how the love emerges. It's like more like
when unboxing continuously happens, what's being unboxed is just love. But you know, Grace, I have another. We have to do a part 2.
Yes,
because this is a wonderful conversation. I'm gonna pause the recording now because
okay.
Wow. Thank you. Watch for part 2, the infinite unboxing of Grace.
Oh.
Or unboxing Grace. Infinitely.
Okay. Whatever. I know it's infinitely unfolding. So beautiful. That's what keeps because there's no arrival, there's no end point. That's what keeps life so surprising and so mind-blowing. You know what I mean? The end, no end to the mind-blowingness of this.
Yeah, because this never arrives. So when it arrives, it gets blown up again. Arrives, blows up. It's just free falling. It's just no, the bottom fell out. There's no more. There's no center. It's just wow. Yeah.
And also, it's not falling. Okay.
It's well, it's not even falling because there's no one. Yeah.
No, it's just kind of like
this
floatingness. It's just like no difference from air, from furniture to the door, to the street, you know, to any.
Or I like. I've been using this a lot. It's flowingness. There's just this beautiful flowingness or whatever it is, and that's the openness, the boundaryless, the seamlessness, and all that. But thank you, Grace.